Jimmy Ott and Charles Hanagriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live?
From the original walk-ons, Burbank and Nicholson, welcome to the Wednesday edition Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hanagriff along with Jimmy Ott. Jordan Kitchens back in the studio. Randy McKay, Wes Reynolds, Scott Rabley, all with us today. Man, just rolling into the parking lot here this morning at walk-ons and
getting ready for the tide, huh?
Yeah, the tents are up. The staff is making preparations. We were here a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking already about the preparations that they were making for Alabama weekend. And now that we're just a couple of days away, it's really coming into focus. We've been in this building for LSU Alabama games before, and it is as electric a pregame atmosphere as you can imagine. I'm not going to play weatherman, but all I'm going to say is the forecast has improved since we talked on Monday about that a little bit. So that's good news too. And, we got the first rankings last time. We're going to talk about that in a second. But Jimmy, coming to walk-ons, perfect way to get you ready to walk over and see this massive matchup with just a ton of implications.
Yeah, as long as they can take care of business the rest of the way, and after this game, the winner is going to have is in if they take care of business and they win out. I'm looking at all the probabilities and everything else, and the show last night and all that good stuff, and it's funny. Different path, different circumstance, different set of rules, but still it's fun in early November when LSU and Alabama got a lot at stake.
Yeah.
And both teams would rather probably thought they might be. I don't know. They could have been one loss. It could have a little bit of a cushion, but they don't. And I thought there was a chance for a 9-3 SEC team to get in. Keep in mind, historically, in the committee poll, there's always a 3-loss team in the top 12 in the final poll after Championship Saturday. Always.
Right.
So it's going to take some dominoes to fall for that to happen. And what we saw last night was 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten, and 1-1-1-1-1. 1 Group of 5, 1 Big 12, 1 ACC, 1 Notre Dame. And that's and there's your 12.
And that's not terribly different from what we thought this might look like at the beginning of the season. Now, as the season got in and there was a little bit more depth in the Big 12 and ACC than we might have, thought. Certainly, we didn't expect BYU to be where they are. Up until last week, we didn't expect Iowa State to remain undefeated. We didn't expect SMU to be where they are. So as recently as last week at this time, multiple bids coming out of the ACC and Big 12 seemed like it was a real possibility. A lot less after this weekend with the Pitt is another one I should have put in there, with the losses of Pitt, Clemson, Iowa State, all of those, essentially drastically lowering the chances of a second bid out of those leagues. Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3. Not any huge amount of surprise there. I might have had Georgia ahead of Ohio State, but that's nitpicking, and we're talking about the percentage points. Even when you get to the Vegas power ratings, the difference between Ohio State, Georgia, and Oregon is essentially less than 1 point. So,
well, those are all traditional powers. Where are you going to, in the season that they've had, the results that they have, and the preseason expectations that they had, they're going to be right there. Splitting hairs. Ward Manuel, former Brother Martin star, parade All-American, went and played at Michigan and has stayed there. Now the athletic director and the chair of the committee. He talked about it, and we're splitting hairs, but Ohio State, went. They went. That loss is a good loss by 1 point on the road when they're driving at Oregon, the number 1 team. And he definitely talked about the quality. They're looking at that loss and to see if it is, how bad of a loss is it. So that's something that hurts Ole Miss. Now, we talked about them, earlier.
Yeah.
That Kentucky loss at home, that's a bad one, a real bad one.
Right.
Because you look at their Vegas power rating. I mean, and I said this again yesterday, Charlie, and you kind of just kind of so whatever. But I don't know what Texas has. I mean, they play one real team. I mean, their best win is at Vandy. Period. Vandy's better, but please, where's Vandy in that Vegas Bowl? Probably about 40. And I think that's where they are, about a top 40 team. 35, 40.
I'm going to page 2. Hang on, I'll tell you. I had everybody but Vandy queued up. I'll find it here in a second.
But
42.
But right around 40.
42.
Ole Miss. Yeah. I mean, you saying, man, South Carolina, huh? And South Carolina's probably got a good Vegas power rating, and they've lost 3 games though.
Right.
Ole Miss went into Columbia and destroyed them.
Yep.
I watched that game with you.
So,
I had South Carolina, never in it.
And that's a big. South Carolina's 19 in the
never.
Vegas power.
See, Ole Miss can go to Fayetteville and put up 700 yards.
Right.
That's why I say they're the most talented, and no doubt he's got to grow. But they're immature. They haven't won anything. They don't know what it is to win.
Yeah.
And they gave one away against Kentucky because they're too immature and too undisciplined to give them 3 extra possessions. You don't think that I mean, that was not the difference in the game?
Yeah.
Keeping them around?
And just to clarify on South Carolina, I don't think that they have a top 25 resume, but I do think that right this second they are a top 25 team. If I had to put 25 teams in a hat for this Saturday, South Carolina would be in my top 25.
What's their best road win?
South Carolina's best road win is now. If you're going to get into road wins,
well, I mean, you got to get them away from home.
Yeah,
that's part of it.
Oklahoma or Kentucky, take your pick. That's the 2 road wins that they've got.
Okay, I mean,
both of them decisive wins. If
Oklahoma, Kentucky's on their way to 1-7 in the league.
Yeah, neither one of those teams are very good. So. They get credit for winning the game.
I mean, they got that's all they can do is play those teams. They're usually better.
Yeah,
Yes,
but Oklahoma in particular.
I think it's all on. It's not so much home and away, but some of that, of course, that crowd is a big deal. But it's a quarterback, and I mean, inconsistent quarterback play in this league, and he's kind of a. Let's face it, he played a little bit better against A&M and LSU.
Yeah.
For those 6 quarters than he's done for pretty much the rest of the season.
All right, here's what I want to ask you. They are adamant that these rankings are not a prediction of the bracket, okay? Because we know that the conference champions and you got a group of 5
But they did both last night.
I know. This is what I want to ask you. The difference between Miami and BYU, which is for the last of the conference champions, which one of those is going to be higher? Miami is 9-0 and BYU is 8-0. BYU's strength of schedule is better. They have 2 top 25 wins as opposed to 1 top 25.
Top 25.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Miami is 5 spots in front of BYU.
No, BYU's low.
Okay.
And Ward Manuel, it's how impressed. He talked about why Indiana's ahead of BYU. He just, man, we're looking at the games. I mean, they are executing at an extremely high level, and that's fair. And so, call it what eye test. I'm sorry. I trust a guy that's been in football his whole life a little bit more. And, I mean, Indiana has not had the scares that BYU has had. But I'll throw a couple of games in there as well. BYU went to Orlando and went to Waco. And Baylor and Central Florida aren't bad. They were underdog in both of those games and won comfortably.
They've won 4 games as an underdog, straight up as an underdog, out of the 8 wins that they've got.
That's 2 of them.
Yeah.
So they were underdog against SMU.
They were.
And probably underdog against Kansas State.
The 4th one would have been, they were at home against Kansas State.
I think they were underdog, though.
Yeah, they probably were. Yeah. That's the other. In fact, they were. That was a Friday night game, I think. No,
It was just a late night
late
game.
Saturday game.
Yeah.
Let me try again. You'll like this one. Texas is 7-1, has a strength of schedule of 49 and no wins against the committee's top 25.
Right.
And is number 5. SMU is 8-1. They've got one more win overall. Their strength of schedule is slightly lower at 60 overall, but they've got 2 wins in the top 25. But Texas is 5 and SMU is 13.
I mean,
I'm bringing it up because
why did Sherwood Blunt? Why did they have to put guys on the payroll in the Pony Excess? Okay, because they were dealing with this crap.
Yeah.
I mean, and here we are, and you said it. Nick Saban said it. He said it. They ain't getting this kind of treatment. What is the deal with kissing Texas ass? I mean, they have not done any. They haven't played anybody. Charlie, we said that this schedule was weak in the summer. It's proven to be weaker. We thought Michigan and Oklahoma might not be all that, right?
Yeah, but
they're worse.
We didn't think they'd be this.
They're
bad.
worse, but significantly worse. I mean, their best win is at Vandy. Great, but it's Vandy and it's a top 40 team.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, if we're going to do this eyeball test thing, which I hate because I don't think their opinions are more valuable than mine or yours or anybody else's. I would rather go by the resumes, but they're bound and determined to do, well, this is what we think. And that's how we ended up with last year. If you're going to do the eyeball test and you look at SMU and you don't tell me
they're killing
changed
people.
Quarterbacks.
They're killing people.
Yeah. Their loss is respectable because it was to BYU. And it's even more respectable when you consider they have changed quarterbacks since then. And since they've changed quarterbacks, they have run over everybody. I mean, they beat Louisville on the road by 7.
BYU's not as respected as Georgia.
No, and I don't expect BYU to be as respected as Georgia. I get that.
But still, it was a close game. I mean, it was not a close game, and that was the one game where they had to step up. I mean, that's the one circle. I mean, Oklahoma rivalry, at A&M rivalry. But that's it. I mean, it's easy when you got 3 really tough games. I mean, or games that you're going to extract a little emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, that Texas is too high. Period.
And I think I think SMU is too low.
They are
because
yes.
if we're going to talk, if they talked about injuries and said, "Well, you take the quarterback away, and this team's not the same thing," go look at SMU's just the eyeball test since they changed quarterbacks. And they've been as impressive as anybody.
Yeah, keep in mind, SMU with the old quarterback almost lost in Nevada week 0.
That's right.
I mean,
29-24, I think was.
They were down the whole game.
Yes. So if we're going to do this eyeball test and we're going to talk about personnel, which I'm going to say for the millionth time, I don't think we should be doing. Then,
but
look
you
at
don't.
that.
The way Wisconsin is destroying people doesn't give them a little bit more respect in your eyes because of their weak schedule. I mean, they're crushing people.
Yeah. What I don't want is I don't want them to be.
I'm asking you a question.
I know. Okay.
That doesn't impress you?
It doesn't.
Because if it were just winning by 3, 4 one-score games against that schedule, I'm sorry, it's not as impressive.
Your margin of victory is a factor.
Not just margin of victory.
How you look, yes. I agree it should be part of that.
Yes, part of
that discussion. But to me, the resume should trump everything, and it doesn't. I just gave you 2 examples of how it doesn't.
So, in one thing that all of this has in common is what? Your favorite word.
Big brand bias.
The brand bias.
Big brand bias. I'm sorry, it does.
I mean, does it not?
Yeah. I'm fine with where Indiana is because as impressive as they have been over those 9 wins, it does have the middle of that schedule has faded. Some of their better wins are against teams that are on losing streaks.
I mean, what
Nebraska,
is their best win?
Washington, Michigan State, all of those teams.
What is their best win?
Their best win
Nebraska?
is probably it's either Nebraska or Washington. Take your pick. I give it to Nebraska, I think, because of the margin. If Nebraska and Washington, that's kind of a what and what type deal. As far as if they played right now.
And in that game, they won 56-7. They didn't win 20-17.
Right.
I mean,
so that's a more impressive win. But do I think Nebraska's that much better than Washington? I don't. But Indiana thumped them, and they beat Washington backup quarterback with Washington. We got
Indiana goes 11-1 unless they get beat 50-0.
Yeah,
they're going to get in.
They should be.
And they're going to take Michigan's spot. Where the normal 4. But man, there's nobody in that Big Ten that's capable, like the SEC, of beating you. Beating the top 4. We've seen this where the other teams, whether it's Kentucky, whether I'm not Kentucky, but Arkansas, help me out. Vanderbilt, beating Alabama, Arkansas beating Tennessee. I don't know. It's
one more thing out of this. Boise State is so far ahead of any other group of 5, and I expected them to be. And frankly, at this point, they're 7-1, and the one loss was at the gun in Eugene. They don't have an overwhelming amount of what you would call high victories. UNLV, Washington State is a really nice win. That's Washington State's only loss, but
at
they don't.
Home.
Yeah, but they don't have
Oregon at Eugene.
But their best performance is the loss at Oregon. So I don't have a problem with Boise State being right there. It actually convinced me that if they were to slip up and lose to, say, Oregon State on the final weekend of the regular season, they still might be the group of 5, entry, unless Army were to beat Notre Dame convincingly, and then run the table out. So those are a few things that I took from it in the initial.
Army Navy, great stories, and that's not happening.
No, and LSU at 15 was right where we thought that they would be. In fact, I think that was the number exactly that we predicted yesterday. They're one slot behind A&M, who they lost to. They're one slot ahead of Ole Miss, who they beat. The 3 of those teams all have 2 losses.
They definitely did that. right out the chute with like in the 20s. They put, who was it? Louisville ahead of Clemson, 22-23. I mean, they, head to head, if it was close, they putting that team ahead.
And that's fair. And
okay.
That's fair. I got no problem with that.
We're at walk-ons, Charlie. You know where we are?
We're at walk-ons.
You've ever been here for game day? You've been here more game days than me. Alabama, it's a big deal, Charlie. It's game days.
Quite a few Saturday afternoons and late evenings here at walk-ons. The first thing is you're not going to be able to stand anywhere in this building and not be able to see probably 8 to 10 to 12 TVs. So you're going to be able to see all of the games. Full service bar, and on game day they recognize that, listen, they're going to staff this thing right. So if you've ever been at a place where you had to stand in line forever just to get a cocktail, that's not going to be the case here. From the beer girls to the multiple bartenders, you're going to have plenty of that. Be able to get in here, get something good to eat, and then it's a really short walk across to Tiger Stadium. And I've made that walk a lot of times, Jimmy, after doing pregame, going over to the stadium to watch the game. It's fun. You kind of get a feel for the whole campus, all the different tailgates, all the different activities that are going on. It's game day at its best.
Yeah, man, it's just cool. That's kind of, you walk across the street and go through that little path.
Snake through the campus. Yeah.
It is. And they're just lined up, man. Everybody's showing off their grill or their boom box or whatever the heck they got going on.
Some really impressive video setups.
Yes, it's
competitive cornhole.
But we've got live views. He starts Friday night over here, so they are getting ready right now. So setting up the stage, setting up outside for live entertainment Friday and Saturday. So, hey, man, it's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be extra people. It's going to be, if you got your parking pass, if you don't, it might take you a little bit longer than usual. Leave early, obviously. But this is a great place to hunker down and wait and meet the people that you have to meet up with right over here at Walk-Ons.
Live at Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
This is Charles Hanagriff for Supreme Rice. We always ask you to support our Louisiana.
On that live?
Yep.
12:26. Okay, thanks.
Farmers in developing and maintaining sustainable farming practices. And now their Climate Smart program supports farming practices that reduce methane emissions and support water conservation, positively impacting the longevity of rice farming for future generations. So the next time you shop for rice, make it Supreme Rice. For more information and great recipes, go to supremerice.com and look for the Climate Smart logo on Supreme Rice bags coming soon.
Custom Colors Body and Paint welcome Will Rapp and Ian McKnight to the team.
the next generation will continue the family tradition of friendly service that Billy and Pete started in 1987. Custom Colors of Baton Rouge, 11550 Cloverland off Segan in the Industrial Place.
The Queen Baton Rouge is your football headquarters this fall. Catch all the games in over 50 screens at either 1770 Kitchen and Cocktails or the DraftKings Sports Bar. We got $3 drafts and many more drink and food specials. Visit thequeenbr.com for more details. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP.
Looking for an exciting career? Guarantee Media is hiring. Go to guaranteemedia.com to see open positions and apply today. Guarantee Media is an equal opportunity employer. guaranteemedia.com.
Please consider making a donation locally through St. Vincent de Paul that truly helps people in need. If you have a boat, car, motorcycle, RV, clothing, housewares, or furniture you no longer use, please consider donating it to St. Vincent de Paul. This donation could get you a tax deduction. Visit svdpbr.org.
Baseball and softball players of all levels get the competitive edge you've been looking for at Total Diamond Performance. Do the same lessons, camps, classes, and clinics used by top college and MLB organizations. Everything from mental performance, in-game video, and data analysis to improve pitching, throwing velocity, bat speed, and fielding. Total Diamond Performance is tailored around the individual player to build strength and athleticism while also cleaning up mechanical deficiencies. Matt Mastretta applies what he's learned working in player development with college and MLB teams. Total Diamond Performance, 931-3730. That's 931-3730.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift of time, the most luxurious gift of all, courtesy of the concierge services at Genesis of Baton Rouge. With so much to do, let our valet service bring the test drive to your door. Need maintenance? We'll pick up your vehicle and return it when the job's done. No hassle, no wasted time, just seamless luxury. Visit genesisofbatonrouge.com and enjoy the holidays on your schedule. Luxury awaits. Genesis of Baton Rouge on Airline across from Woman's Hospital and genesisofbatonrouge.com.
Struggling to lose weight? Feeling overwhelmed by diets and exercise plans that just don't work? There's a better way. Unique Physique offers weight loss injectable medications. Semaglutide, now only $195 a month, and tirzepatide is only $325 a month. The lowest prices in town. No contracts, no gimmicks, just real results without the hassle. Visit uniquephysique.com or call today to schedule a consultation and unlock your weight loss potential. Unique Physique, your weight loss solution.
Have you been arrested or even issued a traffic ticket? Everyone makes mistakes. Hi, I'm Dana Brown from the law offices of O.C. Brown. If you find yourself in an unfortunate situation with the law, call us today and we can help you resolve your problem, whether it's just a traffic matter or something more serious. No criminal matter is too big or too small for us to aggressively and effectively represent you. Before making any decisions, call us at 225-343-1111 for your free consultation. You can also visit us at ocbrown.com. The law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Finding the right personnel for your organization can be a challenge. At Glow Resources, we take that job seriously, but not ourselves. We place the best people into the right job. Glow Resources, complete employee solutions. GlowResources.com.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. If you switch your residential or commercial trash pickup to us, we promise to never sell your trash to the paparazzi. Seriously.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
You can always get the show on demand. The new LouisianaSports.net, 104.5ESPN.com. New Hannycast is up. Some bonus film from earlier in the season up right now on YouTube. Maction last night. Both underdogs at home cover. Neither one of them won outright, but both of them covered. You got 2 more home underdogs tonight, although you got to have some real onions to go with Kent State.
Bowling Green ended up at the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
They were running plays when they could have taken a knee, and then when they got to the 2-yard line, they did take a knee. So it was the coach for Bowling Green clearly did not know, could not figure out the time and how much when to take a knee and when not. So it was very, very close. He busted one from about the 25 to the 2-yard line.
Yeah,
so.
probably one of the lower watched games. There was other things going on.
Not at my house.
I know, but the MAC action continues tonight. Again, you got one massive home underdog and you got one small home underdog tonight.
Yeah, it was a lot of impartiality, Charlie. I'm sorry. partisanship, man. The guys were pulling for Bowling Green to cover.
Is that it?
Yes, yes. It was
announcers,
slanted, man. I could not believe the action, was so slanted, both on ESPN and ESPN2.
Criticizing where
I know
Central
one
Michigan
thing,
put their resources.
I know one thing. The Miami, they not killing them for a gift call, a couple of calls, huh?
They didn't, and probably because they don't. They consider that those calls were correct, considering they went through the ACC office to get them. We thought both of those calls were pretty bad. I guess it's easy to bury it now. They happened a long time ago. There's a lot to like about Miami.
I mean, there's history there. I mean, Colorado clearly had a fifth down. Where Missouri just takes a knee and the game is over.
Right.
With less than a minute to go. And they gave them a share of the national title. Didn't they split it that year with Georgia Tech?
Yeah, they did. Is that why though?
No, but they could have penalized them.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was clearly a fifth down, but they didn't play that. They voted them.
Right.
I mean, there were 1 in one poll and 2 in the other in the final poll.
I'll be honest with you. I wasn't in that committee room, but I'd be surprised if that came up very much. Those calls. Maybe they should have, but I would be surprised if those calls came up much, saying you should have lost that game, but for this.
Well, it was in the best interest of the ACC to keep as many playoff contenders alive, was it not?
Yeah, it was. Remind me of the time in the game.
So it's kind of they're kind of a.
Remind me of the time of the game of the targeting call or the non-targeting call against Cal. How much time was left in the game?
It was on the game-winning touchdown drive.
Okay, if that
and
call,
it was. I'm sorry, it was. No, it was
in the fourth quarter, but
it was on California on a drive, and they were trying to take the lead back, and it was called on the field, and they pulled it.
If the call is
and it kept the drive going.
If the call is administered properly, what is Miami's chance of winning that game? Because we know if the call
40%.
Okay, because
it was an offensive game. California was on the plus side. It ended that drive. I could live with you going as much as 50%.
Okay, because we know if the other call is reversed, it's the last play of the game.
That's
it's
0 to 100%.
100%, right?
Yes.
So,
and it was called that way on the field, and both of them were called that way on the field.
Right. And they're going to go back and they're going to talk about administering that rule, which is a ridiculous rule against Virginia Tech. So if they wanted to say, listen, there was a bad call in the Cal game, but even if they get that call, there's no guarantee that Miami, that the outcome's going to be the same.
I just didn't know, but they're not.
Right. That's what I've always had a problem with the LSU Alabama call on Patrick Peterson that just enrages people to this day. I've always said, I don't know if they win that game if Peterson.
No.
It's nothing like the Nola no call. If the Nola no call is made. It is a 99.9% chance they're going to win. I don't know if LSU is going to win the game if Peterson gets that interception. They might have, but what I remember that day was it was pretty sticky going against that Alabama defense. I don't know if LSU goes down and scores. So
no, it was tough. It was yeah.
So there's a difference in these two calls. The Cal call,
sure.
The game's still in the balance. The
sure.
Virginia Tech call, it's really not.
But when it happened like back to back, and it was.
It did. It did get everybody's attention for sure.
Yes. Don't forget our friends over at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all of you real estate closings. 296-0060. Full service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional service is what you get when you dial 296-0060. Ashley Donald, Mariana Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt. Our great team over at Legacy Title. Buying, building, refinancing, nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title 296-0060.
Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hi, I'm Skip Bergman. You know, my players relied on me for guidance and advice, whether it was fielding tips or when to swing for the fences or the little gorilla ball. In business, that's where good bankers come in, like the business bankers at Citizen Bank and Trust.
That's right, Skip. This is Jim Ferguson of Citizens Bank. If you're a business owner, the bankers at Citizens are here to coach you up for success. Join our team today. Citizens Bank and Trust, business bankers, business partners, member FDIC.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
Attention, vehicle owners. Before you trade your transportation, let K&M Automotive give your vehicle a new lease on life with a remanufactured product from Jasper Engines and Transmissions. A Jasper remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential will extend your vehicle's life, giving you the extra cash to do the things you really enjoy. And Jasper offers a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide parts and labor warranty. K&M Automotive, 636-2875. That's K&M Automotive, Siegen near Perkins.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. Equinox EV and the all-new Equinox offer award-winning quality and style to see you through the holiday season. See why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. See your Super Chevy dealers today.
It's rare to find someone you can count on when it's go time. It's even more rare to find someone you can count on, well, all the time. At Sunshine, we're proud to offer the John Deere equipment you need and a team you can depend on and off the field. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me as we talk college football all year long, weeknights at 6 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. It's brought to you locally by Louisiana Turf Company. Visit them at louisianaturf.com.
When it comes to celebrating life, there's no better place than Ruffino's. With locations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, Ruffino's is a steak, seafood, and Italian-inspired restaurant that focuses on the celebration of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit ruffinosrestaurant.com. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Did you know most homes don't have adequate insulation? This means higher electricity bills. Capital City Comfort can come and inspect your home for any spots that need extra insulation. Get ready for Louisiana weather with Capital City Comfort. Online at capitalcitycomfort-br.com.
Tommy was professional, easy to work with. Tommy returned my call quickly, answered any questions I had. Tommy's crew showed up on time, installed the windows, cleaned up after themselves where you had no clue someone was even there.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. Have a question, a problem, call us. We answer the phone. 225-363-9053.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All right, let's go to Randy McKay to catch up with our guy. Big Dog, how you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. A little bit of an election hangover, and there's a big snowstorm here, so I'm pretty much locked up in the apartment.
You in Colorado?
Yep. You know, we got the big snows in today, but nice thing about getting big snows here is a day or two it'll all be melted.
Hey, what's your thoughts on the separation, man, for the haves and have-nots in the NFL, man? There's some teams, Randy, that just, unless they're playing each other, they're really having difficulty just competing. I mean, you're playing close. Another chalk a weekend. It was sort of a chalk month of October in the NFL. Certainly the the bookmakers remind us of that from time to time. But I mean, there's value with some of these teams, but man, it's just it's tough. It's tough to back them, even with the value.
Yeah, favorites won every game except for the Carolina Saints game, and that led to the chopping block for Dennis Allen. Of course, you guys know a lot about that. And what a product we give Germany this week here with this with this Giants and Panthers game. I'm sure you're going to be up and at it, ready to watch that game. I think we're still mad at Germany over World War II for that game.
Randy, I've talked to a number of people who are skipping the LSU Alabama game so they can get up early and make sure they watch Carolina and the Giants at 8:30 in the morning.
I'm DVRing it just to make sure I can watch it again.
Trust me, there'll be two people up watching that game in Baton Rouge. Me and Charlie. That's it. For our Sunday morning show. Oh my goodness!
What a great game! Yeah, what a great game you guys got there with the LSU Alabama. I'm probably more excited for that than any NFL game this week.
Oh, it checks all the.
Imagine how much fun it's going to be.
It checks all the boxes. You've come through, man. You've we went and kind of looked at the stadium a little bit, man. It's just it's man. These son of a guns are massive, and that. These 100,000 seat stadiums in Knoxville, Baton Rouge, Tuscaloosa, College Station. These son of a guns are big, man. They're huge, and it's gonna be electric, man. There's no doubt about it. So we're how many, Charlie? How many usually on campus that don't have tickets? About 75, 100,000. I don't know about with the possible weather. I guess people will wake up that day and kind of decide on that.
For the biggest games that they've had 100,000 actual butts in the seats. The estimates go anywhere from 125 to 125. Yeah, another 25 to 40,000 people on campus with no tickets.
Oh no, I thought it's bigger than that. Oh, I thought you were saying just 125 extra. No. We've heard almost double sometimes 75,000.
It's a hard number. It's a hard number to grasp.
It's the trash. It's the trash.
The trash. Yeah. And they've got the overhead cameras for traffic and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Randy, what you looking at this weekend in the NFL?
Well, I seen you're talking about the Saints. I seen they just went up to +4. So usually getting that new coach in there is usually a motivational angle. I haven't played that game yet, but it's one I'm kind of looking at. But the 3 games I have played. I took Cincinnati +6.5. There's still mostly 6s out there. I thought Baltimore would have kind of a letdown spot last week against Denver, but it didn't happen. And they came out strong, especially in the second half. But this division rival, these two teams play close, and I definitely, Burrow and company can keep it close, probably getting T. Higgins back. And slight improvement here with Lou Anarumo's defense, and he knows how to stop Jackson a little bit. He has pretty good schemes usually when they match up. So I see a close one there on Thursday night.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm seeing some 6.5s out there right now. So that's the Amazon Thursday night game tomorrow night, and Bengals at 4-5, and they took care of business. It was an easy win. This past weekend against the Raiders, and they overcame a pick 6 early. Burrow threw 5 touchdowns. But, yeah, Higgins will have to be able to go for this one for them to be able to compete. A little bit of a revenge spot here for Baltimore blew that lead. I'm sorry, Cincinnati blew the lead. Cincinnati blew the lead when they were at home.
Higgins had 9 catches for 83 yards and 2 touchdowns in that first game with Baltimore.
Yeah. And who's your other 2 picks, Brandy?
I got Pittsburgh Steelers here getting up to mostly 3 here now. Tomlin pretty strong after the bye here. They get some help in the trade here with Williams, I think, from the Jets. But, and of course, another week for Russ Wilson to get used to this offense. And this offense has looked pretty good since he's been in there. And this will be the best defense that Daniels has seen. So I think they'll have a little bit of advantage there. Of course, Daniels looking very good. He looked very good against the Giants last week. Unfortunately, we didn't get the cover because the Giants could not make a 2-point conversion.
All right. So we got the Russell Wilson, Randy. I mean, he's exceeded my expectations. How comfortable he looks with this new team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he gives them more stability, and looks like he's gotten pretty good again with that deep pass, and trusting his receivers to come down there. He throws one of the better deep balls when he gets out of that pocket, and that's pretty scary for teams facing him.
All right, and who's your last one?
Now I'm going to go back to the Denver Broncos here. I took it at 8.5. It's down to 8 mostly everywhere else. Kansas City's just a grinded out team that doesn't win by margin. They're coming off an overtime victory against Baker and crew. Thought Todd Bowles should have won for 2 and he didn't do it. And then of course then scored a touchdown overtime. But the Denver defense had a poor performance. Game kind of snowballed against them, but they have a very good defense, and I think I can see them causing some troubles here for the Chiefs offense, and then on the other hand, having some success against that Chiefs defense with Bo Nix, who's been pretty good about not turning the ball over and been a decent rookie quarterback so far.
Yeah, Kansas City 8-0, but 4-4 against the spread this year. So they another win, but comes under the number on Monday night against Tampa Bay.
How worried you guys about Mahomes' health? I mean, he's gutted out a few, but he's hobbling, man.
Well, he came back. He didn't have to. I mean, he just went in the tent. It looked like it was more of a hyperextension because I thought that was okay. What is it? A strain or a tear? Because he, where he right as he kind of start, but he planted on the left leg, and that did not look good. He needed assistance to get across the field back to the Chiefs sideline, and you see how you have that sort of that misstep where you compromise your knee, but he came back and finished the game. So
the other thing with Kansas City is Travis Kelce over the last 3 games has started to look like the old Travis Kelce again. Out of necessity, maybe, but
Charlie, he's still out of shape. What's his yards per catch? He had a ton of them. I mean, he was but he's not getting any separation. He's not as fast. He had the targets. He had the completions. There's no doubt. 16 of 14? 16 targets, 14 completions?
Yeah. 7 yards a catch, 7.1.
What you think about Kelce, where he is? I mean, that guy's got a full plate, man. He's not in shape.
Yeah, plus he fumbled the ball too, so maybe he had other things on his mind. But yeah, I think he's a deteriorating. I think this is probably his last season. He'll probably join his brother on the sidelines. And about Mahomes, I was all excited about seeing North Dakota's greatest quarterback come into the game there, Carson Wentz, but it just didn't happen. But it would be exciting to see what he could do for the Chiefs offense.
Yeah. No, Tampa Bay is. I don't know why they lost him as much as they did. To have such a spike in the receptions. But Charlie, I don't think he's capable. Like that conference championship game last year, he was the best player in the field. I mean, he was.
Oh, he's not that player anymore.
Yeah, he can't do that.
No, he's not that player right now.
I don't think he's going back to his old self. I mean, his whole. How can he? What is he not on? Every commercial, game shows, the concerts.
And he's 35 years old, so he was going to, start to drop off. Anyway, I think he's in better shape now than he was at the beginning of the season. I guess is my point.
What did he average per catch?
7 yards in this game, 9 the game before that. He's a productive player. He's no longer the best tight end on the planet. He's just a very productive. But earlier in the season, they weren't even looking for him at all. I mean, there were games where he had like 3
you can
catches.
Cover him if you want.
Yeah,
it's not like he's. There was one play where he went like a little option route and he got separated. I'm like, wow, this is the first time it was underneath. But this is a Tampa Bay defense. I don't think this is a regularity. I don't think this is things to. And actually, because he had all those catches, that might be an under, for his player prop because Tampa Bay has been one of the weaker defenses in the league.
Go under on the yards, maybe. The explosive plays aren't there, but Mahomes trusts him, and he's looking for him again. And Kelsey is producing.
Well, who is Hopkins going to take catches away from?
Well, the other night he didn't take away from anybody. It was the two of them, and it's not like anybody else has got to be in the game plan.
What Worthy is kind of his lack of development. They're not giving up on him by any stretch, but he ain't going to get a whole lot of targets.
No,
they had to blow a coverage for him to throw the ball down the left sideline earlier.
He's a situational guy, and after that, they kind of piece things together. There's nobody else that they're like, we have to get this guy in the game plan.
Randy, would you look to go under on Kelsey on catches or yards after that big Monday night?
Yeah, I definitely would look in that, and definitely I think Denver defenses tight ends pretty well. He reminds me a lot of Tony Gonzalez at the end of his career. Still, can get you 40, 50 yards, but like you guys said, not going to get any breakaway or anything down the field.
Yeah. Hey, who you like in the big games in the SEC? Anything? Ole Miss and Georgia, and LSU and Alabama. The two home teams are dogs.
Yeah, I got to go with your guys' Tigers, of course. There, and I think they win that game all right and keep their playoff chances alive and knock out Alabama. On the other way, I like Georgia's team better than Ole Miss there, and I think that's a pretty decent spot. So, that's what I'd look at.
Oh yeah, Kelsey is aging, 35.
Yeah,
35 now, and in his 12th year.
Making more on the podcast than he's making playing football, by the way.
What's that?
Making more on the podcast than he's making playing football.
Is he really?
He's got more left on his podcast contract, more money left on his podcast contract than on his NFL contract.
Looks like you guys grooming for retirement as well.
It's a wonderful after football gig. They're making plenty of money.
Randy, any futures in games, win totals to make the playoffs, things like that?
Yeah, I got one that's probably going to lose in Buffalo under 10.5. They're just exceeding expectations here. I thought their defense, it isn't a great defense, but of course Allen and company, even with them starting out with no wide receivers, has played pretty well. So that's probably a loser, but I'm looking good, really good with the big one I had, and that was San Francisco under 10.5. That's looking strong. And I also took some Vikings over 6.5. That's looking pretty good. I only need one more win, and I got that one. So looking okay in the RSWs. The only future I got a $1,000 free bet here, and put it on the Lions at 11-1. So you make a pretty good payout if the Lions win it all.
Hey, what about Cincinnati? Even money right now to make the playoffs. They have one more layup game against Tennessee, and everything else is very competitive. But they're basically going against the Colts for the last spot. Colts in Denver, kind of a 3-horse race for one spot there.
Yeah, I would favor, even though Cincinnati has a tougher schedule, I'd favor Cincinnati and probably look at playing them at even money there. So, definitely worth a look.
No question. And what's your thoughts on Flacco? They didn't score an offensive touchdown Sunday night.
Yeah, just it doesn't seem like things seem like they're out of sync against the Vikings in that dome, and sometimes I've only been in that dome once, and I'm going to the game against the Bears on Monday night, but team rattled in that dome, and that was a defensive battle on both sides. So Colts still could have got the cover there, but Flacco didn't have his best game, and neither did the offense running the ball. I thought they controlled the ball a little bit, but they struggle with that too. So we'll wait and see with Flacco if he can get them in the playoffs.
All right, follow Randy on Twitter at RR39 at RR39. All right, Randy, don't look for a big spike in the Baton Rouge television ratings on Sunday morning for the big barn burner in Germany. Okay, so thank you, Randy. Good luck, brother.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck, everybody out there.
Workbox Services, Workbox LLC can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial or residential. Our shipping containers come in various sizes Not just one size, 8 by 8 feet, 8 by 10, 8 by 20, or 8 by 40 feet. These units can be customized for any use: lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padial and Workbox a call at 343-4886 and workboxllc.com.
Live at the original Walk-Ons Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
The Grand Bayou Casino, conveniently located off I-10 at exit 139 in Gross Ted, offers the latest video poker machines 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Got a great staff at the Grand Bayou Casino. Our inviting staff will greet you with complimentary coffee and sodas as you enjoy listening to the curated tunes in our comfortable seating. Make the trip to the Grand Bayou Casino, where players are welcome. The Grand Bayou Casino, I-10 at the Gross Ted exit. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-877-770-STOP. The Grand Bayou Casino.
Get your Butterball Thanksgiving turkey free at Rouse's Markets. Buy a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham for just $2.99 a pound and get a Butterball Grade A frozen turkey up to 14 pounds for free. That's right. Buy a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham. Get a free Butterball Grade A frozen turkey for your Thanksgiving dinner. Limit one per customer with $25 in-store purchase. Visit Rouse's.com for more details. Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the Saints.
Yo, Jake and T-Bob here. We've been talking about the All-Star Toyota rentals for a while, so during vacation season, we wanted to remind you about them.
That's right. All-Star Toyota has daily, weekly, and monthly rentals with flexible plans and competitive rates that blow the other places out of the water. In fact, you can rent a new Toyota for as little as $60 a day. These rentals are perfect for out-of-town trips, for business, or pleasure.
All-Star Toyota, located on Airline at Goodwood. Check out their website at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com/rental. People you know, cars you trust. All-Star Toyota.
With all of the financial headlines, are you worried if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. If you have more questions and answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Stop by your local Edward Jones advisor. Tex Morris on Jefferson. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Did you know that over 50 million people are missing teeth and experience discomfort and embarrassment due to dentures that just don't fit? We have a solution to transform your life in one day. Hi, this is Dr. Leo Reagan.
And I'm Dr. Michael Cassadavan. At Fusion Implant Center, we have witnessed life-changing transformations of so many patients, even those patients who were told that they couldn't be helped.
The board-certified doctors here at the Fusion Implant Center guarantee painless and cost-effective procedures. We are the experts and teach this new technology all over the country.
The Fusion Implant Center, with its team of experts and state-of-the-art operating rooms, is conveniently located in one facility. No procedure is too complex for us. Every patient is a candidate. Let us give you back your confidence and smile.
Call today or visit FusionImplantCenter.com. Don't go one more day feeling insecure. Join the over 30,000 who have transformed their smile and enriched their lives in one single day.
When it comes to building and property inspections in Southeast Louisiana, go with the certified experts, Avid Inspection Specialists. From homes to businesses, or mold, lead, or asbestos inspections, they have the latest technology to give you peace of mind. Avid Inspection Specialists. Visit avidspecialists.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 1045 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Kim Mulkey has landed the number 6 prospect in the country, has the number 1 recruiting class in the country, and now has 4 5-stars. Jimmy, that sounds like a lot for a basketball recruiting class, don't you think? 4 5-stars in one recruiting class?
You better. What's that team in Columbia, South Carolina getting?
Probably the 4 others, 5 stars.
You know.
With the women's basketball team.
She ain't going away.
No, it's a highly competitive league at the top. but 4 or 5 stars.
Let's get it going, baby. Let's get it going. Get it going. Let's go. Little general.
The women started on Monday night, and the men start tonight over at the PMAC against ULM. Don't you see Max has got his McManiacs shirt on?
Her Hunt breaking it down, clearing the path for LSU to get to the tournament.
Cool.
March Madness. And we're talking about NIT too.
I'm all ears.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
I think the preseason.
Nothing like having your team make a run in March Madness.
Preseason ranking, preseason predictions. 30? I think with the 10 SEC teams had a chance to make the NCAAs. I think that was Lenardi had 10 of them in his preseason prediction. So
let's go.
We'll see. Getting it started. All right, Scott Ravelli with us. We'll talk LSU Alabama when we come back here at the original walk-ons, Burbank and Nicholson, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
The new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Wesley across from Mike Anderson's. Man, the place looks great. Lots of indoor and outdoor seating options with plenty of big TVs to watch all your favorite games. All of the traditional Mexican cuisine with a great happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Plus $5 margaritas all day, all night on Wednesdays. Great spot to bring the baseball team in between games. Just 5 minutes north of Traction and 5 minutes south of LSU. Los Reyes Mexican Grill, 1072 West Lee, near Nicholson.
With Progressive, you get more than savings. You get access to us through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
Oh, I see what you're doing here, Jamie. Giving me all these ways to stay in touch so I have no excuse not to. Well, you're in luck, because this guy's in the market for a new BFF.
Actually, all our customers can contact us this way.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just kidding.
But I am always up for Taco Pizza!
Jigsaw!
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Total Maintenance for AC and heating, generators, electricity, and plumbing. One of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies since 1980. Service today, every day. Nobody likes to go to sleep hot. With a full staff in both Baton Rouge and New Orleans, Total Maintenance is an authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Rheem AC units, and Generac and Cummings generators. In Baton Rouge, call 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Total Maintenance, your authorized AC dealer.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hanny? Guys? Guys? Hello? Hello?
So if you're hearing this, just head to your nearest AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Get Moss Max and less tax during happy hour at Modesto. Join us Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. for $10 20-ounce margaritas and Dip Trio with $5 drink specials and $6 seasonal cocktails. Eat Modesto, 3930 Burbank Drive.
Pizza that's true to its hand-tossed wood-fried tradition. Roca Pizzeria is heating up its new half-off happy hour, Monday through Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m. Come enjoy 50% off margarita, pepperoni, or cheese, craft cocktails, wine by the glass, and draft beer. Roca Pizzeria, 3897 Government.
Is it time for you to get new windows, doors, or siding? Then I have 2 pieces of advice for you. Call Tommy's Windows and get multiple quotes. Then you can compare our costs, products, and references. Go to GoTommys.com to give us a chance. We're Tommy's Windows. Go Tommy's!
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan.
He's calling
I'd
you.
like to help.
Pick up the phone.
Hanny is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And we return here at Walk-Ons Burbank and Nicholson. Tell you what, you come on out and see us for lunch today. We're another big, healthy lunch crowd, but this Saturday, all of the preparations have been ongoing for some time for LSU and Alabama. All the tents up outside. Great pregame party here at Walk-Ons. Easy walk across the campus over to Tiger Stadium. Just come on out and enjoy the festivities. There's a few times a year, three times a year where that stadium is at its best, and we feel like this will be one of them as the weather forecast has improved a little bit since earlier in the week. We bring in Scott Rabelais from the Advocate. He'll be in Tiger Stadium on Saturday night. Rab, how you doing?
Oh, I'm a little leery-eyed from staying up late and watching election returns, but we'll muddle through.
And here, I thought you were watching MAC football last night.
Both dogs covered, Rabs.
Yeah, right. Come on,
man.
And the games ended a lot sooner than the election.
Both played
results.
in the rain. That's indeed midweek action.
Nothing like
The election favorite won, though, Jimmy. The money came in on Trump, and they were right.
Not the popular vote. Kamala was minus 300 on the popular vote.
Huh.
I would say that Trump probably covered last night.
Yeah, went from minus 180 to 130 yesterday. So it was a shift over the weekend toward Harris. But yes, Trump the chalk covered. Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can bet on and how.
Yeah.
But okay.
Scott, this LSU Alabama game for so many years it was frustrating for LSU fans. LSU was, usually the best running team in the conference just because they ran it so doggone many times. Mm-hmm. And Alabama usually had the best rush defense in the conference, and it didn't matter how many people they put in the box. Les Miles was going to try to run it in there anyway. So it's really kind of different to look at it now. And Alabama's got the 14th ranked run defense in the conference. And even Missouri, who had no quarterback basically in that game and got beat 34-0, was able to run for 167 yards. South Carolina ran for $132. Vandy ran for 166. And Tennessee ran for 214. Problem is, LSU don't have much of a run game these days. So when you think about the rush stats, is there any chance LSU gets a running game going against a team that's given up a bunch of yards on the ground?
The resistible force against the movable object. Right?
Yeah, the opposite of what we used to have here.
It certainly is, and it's strange to wrap your head around that and think, what a passing threat LSU is now, has been for the last few years. But yeah, I mean, a rushing offense, LSU's last in the SEC rushing offense. So it's not a strength versus strength anymore. But LSU's got to try to run, don't you think? I mean, they've got to take some pressure off of Nussmeier, not make him feel like he's got to make all these ridiculous throws. He's prone to want to try to throw it through the eye of a needle anyway. So but you got to give him some balance and some help. And obviously Garrett Dellinger's injury his being absent Saturday does not help that cause at all. Maybe it will make Joe Sloan, who I think has been kind of too vanilla with his run play calls, a lot of stuff between the tackles. Maybe it'll make him be a little more exotic with things he calls in the run game, because Alabama has, as he said, shown a propensity to be vulnerable to it.
Well, I've got a different idea, and it's that they just give Nussmeier some easier things to complete. We went back in film study this week and we looked at some of the things they did in the USC game. And the run game got going in a couple of places, largely because USC was still respecting Garrett Nussmeier's threat to run. Teams are no longer doing that. So with that in mind, some of the other things they ran in that thing were in a short passing game. Whether they got it to Xavion Thomas, Aaron Anderson wasn't a real big part of that game plan from that standpoint. But they've got other weapons there. Caden Durham can catch the football. You've got another tight end in Trey Green who really didn't play very much in that game, if at all. That is a threat in the short passing game. I think Anderson is a threat there. These are the easy things to complete that I think could take some of the pressure off of Nussmeier, and you don't have to pull linemen to do it. But Brian Kelly said that they're not really built for the short screen game and the short, easy pass game.
No, and that's puzzling to say the least. Because it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to do. And does that speak to the skill players? Does that speak to the offensive linemen not being able to get out there and block? Yeah, I don't know. But if it's the latter, it's another maybe we all oversold this or overbought this offensive line and what we thought they were capable of this year. Garrett needs to run. To your earlier point, he needs to run the ball. He needs to try to keep the other team out. It's just a couple of times, not every time. But I get the impression, don't you, from Kelly saying that he checks out of a lot of runs himself. That Garrett will check into passing plays, like he feels more comfortable. He doesn't really want to run. Clearly, he doesn't want to have to do it. But and I think now conversely, I think the short pass can be as good as a run, but you got to make them respect everything. Because Alabama, still have athletes on defense. They might not be the classic Alabama defense, but they're certainly very opportunistic. In the secondary, they've got 11 interceptions on the season, so that's a concern. So, but I think they got to try to be committed to the run, but to trying to mix it up a little more. I think that's what I'd like to see from LSU on Saturday.
This game compares mostly with the Ole Miss game at night, a big matchup. And this year, more than most, Ole Miss's defensive personnel compares to Alabama's pretty good. I actually like Ole Miss a little bit. 75 snaps in the Ole Miss game for LSU, 51 passing attempts. So, I mean, right at 2-1. So,
and you're right in that Nussmeier, I do believe, has checked out of a lot of these things, and they give him that autonomy, and I'm glad that they do, because the quarterback, that means you trust your quarterback with the offense. I would like to see him get the ball out on the perimeter a little bit where they don't have to pull linemen. We saw some of that in the USC game. They've actually got a couple of willing blockers out there. C.J. Daniels is a willing blocker. Trey Green is not a polished blocker at all, but he's a willing blocker, and he's a big body, so they can throw a couple of those in.
Good to have CJ back. Whatever they do, guys, they've got to be more successful on first down. Reed Darcy's got his keys to the game on our website already. A&M stopped LSU either at the line of scrimmage or behind it on 20 of 34 first down plays. That's just putting too much stress on your offense, however you're trying to move the ball. And in the second half, they only gained more than 1 yard on 4 first down plays. They've got to avoid getting in those third and longs, because that's playing into an Alabama defense that, as we said, is not as great as it is. No one's going to think this is the 2011 game, right? On either side in terms of offense or defense. But you got to not stress your offense, and put yourself in these situations where an opportunistic Alabama secondary can be lying in wait for Garrett to have to be forced to make a somewhat dangerous throw, and then maybe you set them up. They get an interception, run it back, and set them up with a short field, which is where your downfall started against the Aggies.
On the other side of the ball, Jalen Milroe basically won this game for Alabama a year ago, and he won it in large part because of what he was able to do on the ground. Hasn't been the case as much this year for Alabama, with the exception of the Georgia game, where he had a monster first half and had some very, very big runs. The last month, he's been mostly bottled up, and it hasn't been for lack of trying. Now, some of these carries are sacks, but he has not been nearly as effective a runner since the Georgia game. How do you expect LSU to defend him?
Yeah, only about 160 yards rushing net the last 2 games. Like he can run. I mean, he's got like 538 yards rushing on the season, but in the net he's only got about 380. So he's been sacked and bottled up and brought down. I like the idea of having Weeks who can go sideline to sideline, be responsible for him a lot of times. Obviously can't be the only thing, but I like that. Obviously you've got guys who can bring pressure off the edges, but it's staying at home and doing your responsibility. Everybody keeps saying it. It's like, it's a broken record. The players say it. Brian Kelly says it. And Greg Penn said it to us, yesterday in player interviews. It's just it's a kind of a broken record. They got to do that, and you can't let him get free. He's dangerous on design runs. Penn said he's dangerous when the play breaks down, and if LSU can hold him to what these last couple of teams that have done. I don't know. I'm guessing we're looking at the stats backwards. He's got about 100 yards rushing net on the last 3 games, 110 in the last 4 games since the Georgia game. If they can hold him down to where it's manageable, by what his season average is, 47 yards per game ends up being his season average, then LSU can win the game. But if he breaks free and it starts hurting you with big, long, gashing plays, then they're in trouble.
Ryan Williams is an unbelievably talented receiver. He has.
Did you know he's 17?
Yeah. No, I promised back in September I wasn't going to say that anymore. So what we should do is we should send him a present when he turns 18, just so we can retire that phrase. We'll send a balloon and some balloons and a cake.
Put you down for 10.
Yes, he's been good, although he hasn't had one of those monster games since the Georgia game. Now, it's easy enough to say take your best cover guy, Zy Alexander, have him travel with Williams wherever he goes, and give him some help over the top. Problem with that is if you play nothing but man coverage against Alabama, then you run the real risk of these defensive backs having their backs turned, and if Milroe gets loose, then he can really hurt you. So what combination of coverages do you think you'll see on Ryan Williams?
Oh, Charlie, I do like the idea of Zy Alexander, being your main guy on him. But it can't just be that. You gotta do a bunch of things to him. Maybe get a linebacker on him, knock him off his route. Get him get him a little confused. Mix up the coverages on shift, have a guy on him, and then they maybe shift a safety onto him, something like that. Something that he's not used to, because he is 17 and he's still not. Although he's played most of the season, he's still not very experienced. So they got to give him a bunch of different looks, and if he makes some catches, he's going to get some catches. He hasn't had less than 4 catches in a game, except for 2 this year. But he's you gotta just keep him from going off against you. But I think with an extra week to prepare, I think Blake Baker will come up with something. And I think they'll be prepared for just about everything, unlike they were against Texas A&M.
I called Blake Baker and I said, "Look, here's the deal. You put Alexander on Williams. You follow him all over the place. You give him some help over the top. You play everybody else man, and you spy Milroe with Weeks, and Alabama's done at that point. It's easy, right? That's all you got to do. I mean, it's so easy to do this stuff on talk radio as opposed to in the stadium. Rab, what do you think of the other big game in the league this week? Ole Miss hosting Georgia.
I didn't think much of Ole Miss until they really just went off offensively against and without Trey Harris, right, against Arkansas. Now, Arkansas is not a great team, obviously. But someone said this, and I'm gonna copy this. Georgia, they're a weird team. They seem to struggle against the unranked teams, like Florida last week. They seem like they're not interested. They're not quite focused. And then they just do what. Usually they win, of course, but they just do what they have to do to win the game. And then against the ranked teams, the teams that are a real threat, you can't count them out. I mean, the way they came back against Alabama after Alabama played virtually a perfect first half, was impressive. And then they obviously go win at Texas. So if they can win at Texas, they can certainly win at Ole Miss. I would have been all in on Georgia before last Saturday's game. Now I got some pause and think that the Rebels could beat them, and throw a further wrench into the SEC race. I'm still like everybody else. If Ole Miss does not this year win, and there's a win against Georgia, they need a win too to stay in somewhat of the playoff hunt if it's possible for them. So I guess I'm kind of leaning to the Rebels, but I'm certainly not very confidently.
Georgia can afford a loss. Ole Miss can't.
No.
That's sort of my read, regardless of what happens with the SEC championship game. And so the last thing is with the initial playoff rankings out last night, any big surprises, any big faux pas to you in the committee's rankings?
Good question. I was a little bit surprised that Penn State stayed up so high where they were at number 6 ahead of Tennessee. I would have thought Tennessee earned, and maybe even Indiana. I thought maybe those teams might have earned to be ranked higher than Penn State. Although they lost a close game to Ohio State, but they just can't beat top 5 teams, right? I mean, it's just a constant thing with these guys. I thought LSU was ranked about where I expected. I thought I heard Paul Feinbaum say that he thought Alabama got a helmet kick like a foot wedge in golf, with their ranking a little bit, and that's probably true. I think reputation does play a little bit of a factor. Apparently, except for like one ranking, their top 13 pretty much mirrored the AP top 13. Georgia being 3 in the CFP and they're 2 in the AP poll. Otherwise, it was pretty much down the line. So don't say that the committee, with all their reams of information, and I've done that mock exercise, with all their reams of information, that they don't can't be influenced by the human polls. I think they can, but overall, I wasn't too surprised with too much. I think Boise State being the 12. I just don't see the Group of 5 champion being anything but the 12 seed, unless they just go out there and knock off a couple of teams. So they're probably stuck with that. But overall, it was a good ranking about what I expected, and I think LSU was in that range I thought they'd be in. And but in the range where if they win out, you like their chances. Maybe even if they can win this game, they might even be in one of those top 12 next week. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Getting back to Ole Miss and Georgia, Rabs, I mean, it's not totally uncommon for very talented teams to kind of play to the caliber of their opponent, like Georgia seems to be doing this year. I mean, there's no way they should play within 1 point of this Kentucky team this year. But I go back to Ole Miss, too, and then we know about Ole Miss and all the third down, dead ball penalties, extended drives against Kentucky. They lose by 3. The game at LSU, they had 12 penalties in this game, along with the mistakes, and we'll have to see. But you said you weren't impressed by that 27-3 win at Columbia, where so many teams are having all kinds of problems playing in Columbia, by Ole Miss earlier in the year?
No, not too much.
No?
I think they're. I think the way Dart played Saturday, when he's on, he's really on. And I've been saying, who's the best quarterback in the SEC? And maybe it's him when he's really on. It's not Carson Beck, and Nussmeier's got a chance at that title, so he's got to have to be on. And if Carson Beck obliges Ole Miss with he keeps throwing interceptions, that's really the wild card factor in this game. What can they do to back because that Georgia offense just struggles sometimes, and Ole Miss is, as you said, got enough defense. Certainly a very, very respectable defense to make you think that they can slow them down. So, but no, I think the results of late have made me think that Georgia's in more trouble than I would have thought earlier.
Brad, we appreciate it. Enjoy the game on Saturday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right. Don't forget our friends at Electric Man of Baton Rouge. That's right, electricmanbatonrouge.com. Guaranteed appointment times. That's right. Not going to hold you hostage all day when you need service at your house. That's right. 372-5356. Our Sweep Electrical Services only offer the most comprehensive and safest electrical installations for your home or for your business or utility needs. From electric vehicle charging stations such as ECS or EVSE to sustainable energy setups for your advanced and modern energy needs, we have you covered. Installations. If your home or business has electrical emergencies, Electric Man can come right at your doorstep 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our professionals can repair, replace, install complex electrical wirings, electrical panels, or new outlets in a breeze. Licensed professionals, insured, we have quality service, free inspection, free estimates, friendly technicians, and those guaranteed scheduled appointments as well. Electric Man, BatonRouge.com, Electric Man, BatonRouge.com.
Live at the original walk-ons, live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Stabs Prime Steak and Seafood? Stabs Prime Steak and Seafood. Well, I guess along with those sizzling steaks, we do have wood-fired oysters and scallops, beautiful sea bass, fresh Gulf fish and shrimp, and rich Ora King salmon. So yeah, Stabs Prime Steak and Seafood. Jefferson Highway across from Palermo Ristorante. Tell Leo that Kevin sent you. And don't forget, there ain't no cake in that crab cake. Come and see us.
The Gulf Coast has long been a key hub for Shell and the U.S. energy supply. With over 100 years of history in Louisiana, Shell remains committed to transforming our business. Our promise? To deliver lower carbon fuels and products. Shell is leading the energy evolution into the next 100 years. The creative thinking of thousands of Louisiana employees will power progress in our state and our future. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana.
Congratulations are in order for one of my favorite places to eat, Snow's Seafood and Steaks, celebrating its 50th anniversary. That's right, since 1971, Snow's has been serving a wide assortment of menu items to please everyone. Steaks, seafood, gumbo, homemade soup, salad, specialty cocktails, great wine selection, and oh yes, the best white chocolate bread pudding that you'll find anywhere. It's the total dining experience. Happy 50th anniversary to my friends at Snow's Seafood and Steak, Airline Highway at Highway 74 in Gonzales.
Take a swing around the parish to one of Breck's 5 golf courses, 2 championship courses, Santa Maria and Beaver Creek, and 3 courses for the more casual golfers, the popular 18-hole Webb Park, and 2 9-hole courses, City Park and the newly renovated J.S. Clark. Breck's courses are designed to challenge every level of golfer from beginner to pro. So come and get into the swing of things. Book your tee time online or find a course near you at golf.breck.org. That's golf.breck.org. Water is water, right? Not when it's Evermore. Smooth tasting Evermore water is Mother Nature's masterpiece. Evermore is natural artesian water. Maybe you want a healthier lifestyle, a high-end athlete who wants better hydration, or a parent who wants something healthier for their kids. You want Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore. Available at great local retailers.
By now, you know that we do our show every other Tuesday at the Crown Sound Room at Dozy Place. The Crown Sound Room is ideal for larger groups, or if you just want to watch the game on one of our 3 large TVs. The tamales are the most popular appetizer, but don't forget the seared tuna with the sriracha glaze for the perfect blend of sweet and spicy. You can't go wrong also with the flash-fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Dozy Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
From your couch to the tailgate to the stadium, Home Field Apparel makes the best game day and everyday gear. This year, Home Field's football box is brand new. It hooks you up with everything you need to cheer on the Tigers. T-shirt, long sleeve shirt, hoodie, hat, socks, and a koozie. Plus, you get 15% off your first order when you use the code LSU24 at checkout. Trust me, y'all, I've been sporting the gear for 2 years now. It's the best. Nothing like I've worn before. Quality, comfort, and style. HomeFieldApparel.com.
Transform your home this fall with Cajun Soft Wash. Their soft washing solution removes dirt and algae without damage, enhancing your home's curb appeal and extending your roof's life. Locally owned and fully insured. Book now at CajunSoftWash.com.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. If you switch your residential or commercial trash pickup to us, we promise to never sell your trash to the paparazzi. Seriously.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
From east, north to south, but we're heading west. It's Wes Reynolds from VSiN.
All right, Wes Reynolds joins us each and every week at this time. Wes, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, Jimmy. How are you?
Doing great. What'd you think of the committee? Now, you're watching these things. I know that Indiana's placements in overall.
Well, look, I felt it was probably fair because you do have to take into context of, to take in the context that they're beating the hell out of everybody too, and they're winning by convincing margins. So that mitigates a little bit of that schedule concern. But I felt probably anywhere 6 to 8. I could have seen them maybe be ahead of Penn State. I know Penn State is Ohio State already, and they lost last week. But if you look, Penn State really hadn't beaten anybody good. They've beaten kind of the mediocre level of the conference, the Illinois and the USCs, and West Virginia is a middling team in the Big 12. So it's not like they beat world beaters. So you could have made an argument that Indiana should have been ahead of Penn State. But overall, I think that placement was relatively fair. That they would, if the bracket were held today, they'd be in that 8-9 matchup, and they'd be going to Knoxville to face Tennessee because they were rated ahead of BYU, and I think they should be. But BYU, because they lead the Big 12, would be one of those automatic 5.
What were you thinking at 12 and change into the game, and East Lansing you down 10-0?
Well, I felt, okay, here's the real test, because Indiana had not been down all year. It was Indiana and Army. Army, by the way, still is the only team in FBS that hadn't trailed in any game this season. So it's like, okay, this is where you find your medal here. This is where you find out who you are. Now, I did not expect a 47-0 run in the game with Indiana. I felt that, okay, this is still winnable. You're on the road. It's not an easy game. You got a team that's smart enough losing to its rival. And then all of a sudden, they just put the foot on the gas. And look, they're showing Kurt Signetti. I tweeted the little meme or the little screen cap where it's 40-10, and he's got this serious, stoic, stone look on his face, like, okay, we're not letting up here. And they were still throwing when they were up 4 or 5 scores. They were still throwing and trying to put up another touchdown. And, that's that kind of, I guess, ruthless aggression that you want when you've been a downtrodden program. You've been getting your butt kicked for so many years, and that's how you change the culture.
But Rourke was on fire again. You concerned about this week's game against Michigan?
I don't know if concerned, but when I look at minus 14.5, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not the Michigan that clearly won the national championship last year, and I think that they're still really offensively challenged. Just they don't have the quarterback play, and you could see it. But it's like we're really laying over 2 touchdowns to Michigan. It's still the name Michigan. It's like that just seems absurd. It's like half their team got food poisoning or something. But laying 14. Look, I'm not going to weigh the top of the market here, but I'm darn sure not going to go against Indiana, and I didn't last week. I didn't go against them, even though I thought, 7.5, 8. That's a little tricky line on the road, but I'm not getting in front of Kurt Signetti, and I would not advise people to do that either.
I think this is you're playing for a playoff spot this week. I cannot see Purdue going to Bloomington and winning. I mean, that's just
the bucket belongs to the Hoosiers.
Yeah. The bucket stays in Bloomington this year. Okay, but and I mean, just don't get beat by 40. Look, the line's only 9.5 on the look-ahead line, so you get a bye, which is the reason why LSU and Alabama take their bye every year before they play each other. I mean, that's an advantage. So I don't see where they're just too buttoned up. They're just too well coached. It's just too disciplined. Have a really good quarterback and a more than competent backup quarterback. I don't see where they're going to go in and get just embarrassed by Ohio State. Can Ohio State win by 2 or 3 touchdowns? Maybe so, but not like the 48-10. That would a really embarrassment to knock them out of the playoff with an 11-1 season.
Yeah, no question about it. I think 11-1 is going to be good enough to get into the playoff because you've got some SEC teams that are going to have 2 losses. And you've also got how many are you going to take out of the Big 12? You may end up only getting 1. You saw Iowa State get beat last week. BYU seems like they might be primed to get beat. It could happen, by the way, this week at Utah. I would actually do the Utes plus the points there plus 4. But the ACC, we saw Clemson go down last week to Louisville. Miami, do you feel like they're living on borrowed time? Somebody's going to get in from the ACC. Pitt, I think, got put out last week, getting obliterated by SMU.
Yep. Who you like this week, Wes, on this week's card? And before that, give me your thoughts on the 2 the big doubleheader here in the SEC. Ole Miss, Georgia, and LSU, Alabama.
Yeah, a couple I'm going to play before I get to that. I'm going to play a little bit of the bubble burst. And I ended up being on Rice last week, that long weathered the lightning delay game where they got Navy after Navy lost their first game. And there's a couple teams that fit in that scenario this week. Iowa State fits in that schedule. Now you're laying about 3 on the road at Kansas. Kansas, I think, has been a little bit better in their record. They just can't win a close game to save their life. But eventually it goes the other way. And I think maybe that's going to be the case for the Jayhawks this week. So I like them +3. I also like Virginia getting 7.5 at Pitt, another bubble burst team that was kind of playing with fire. You know, they beat Syracuse convincingly, but a lot of that was Syracuse's mistakes. Pitt really didn't do anything of note. And then you saw them go down to SMU last Saturday night and get absolutely crushed. So that certainly applies. Virginia +7.5. If the 14 stays again on Washington, because this is another undefeated bubble burst team, that being Penn State, with that poor play calling from the stretch against the Buckeyes. James Franklin just finds a way to be small game James in those games. But if Washington can get even 2 touchdowns, I think that travel spot, which has been so poor for these teams traveling across these multiple time zones, it's a little bit easier in a night game than it is in a morning game, like when you're going to Indiana or Rutgers or something at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
All right, so Kansas, Virginia, and Washington this week. Your thoughts on the doubleheader in the SEC?
Yeah, I actually lean to both dogs here. I lean to the Tigers. I think that bye week was really good for them because we saw what happened with A&M. They were up in that game, and then Marcel Reed came in, and they just didn't seem prepared to play him. And, you know, we saw when you have some preparation against them with South Carolina. We talked about that game last week. And South Carolina got away from them in the second half, even after A&M took the lead going into halftime. So LSU, I just don't think was prepared for a mobile quarterback and to do what they were doing, that plan of attack that Elko and A&M had. But I like the Tigers here getting 3 at home. I know there's some 2.5 out there against Alabama. Alabama just doesn't seem to be the same. It's a totally new operation. There's still a lot of talent on that team. There always is. But, you know, and I like Kalen DeBoer as like a game planner. But as an in-game coach, he's made some boo-boos this year throughout the season. And I think maybe I lean Kelly in the coaching matchup here. So I like the Tigers, and I also like the Ole Miss Rebels against Georgia. If you watched that Georgia-Florida game last week, Florida had control of the game until Lagway went out of the game. And he got hurt, and then they put the kid, I think it was the Yale transfer, I forget his name, in the game, and he just got overwhelmed. He got absolutely overwhelmed by the moment. So Georgia, to me, as good as they are, they have not been peak Georgia. They just, I think they've just been winning just on athleticism and talent, but they're not as good as some of Kirby's vintage teams over the last couple of years. So give me the lane train and 3 at home.
Yeah, and I think Beck is disappointing because look, he should be more refined, more polished in year 2 as a starter. I mean, he's got all of it, and look, he improved over the course of the season last year, where they kind of won and kind of asked him to manage the game. Next thing you know, he's taking shots downfield, and he was a weapon. And let's face it, if they'd have got in, they might have won the whole thing. They weren't battle tested enough with the light schedule when they finally played a team like Alabama. But damn it, they were definitely one of the top 4 teams in the country last year. But 11 interceptions and 10 TDs in SEC play. I mean, it's just he's an interception machine as of late. You wonder if he's getting caught up with the lifestyle of what football is affording him right now in college.
Yes, the Cavender girl.
Yeah.
That's from Montana. That'd be a distraction for me too.
Fair enough. There's no argument there, Wes. No doubt about that. Wes, follow Wes at Wes Reynolds 1. Oh, before we go, let you go. Your top NFL pick, Wes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a couple I'm going to play. I'm going to play one close to home. I'm going to play the Saints +3.5. And I saw your guys' tweets about the regime change that needed to happen down in New Orleans. It happened earlier than you thought, though, with Dennis Allen getting the hook. But New Orleans could have won that game in Carolina. They totally outplayed them. Just, things happen, and sometimes you find ways to lose. But I think clearly having Derek Carr is so much better than having Spencer Rattler back there. And I think Atlanta, quite frankly, has been very lucky so far this year. So I'll pick 3 in the hook with New Orleans. And also like the Texans getting more than 3 against the Lions, who keeps getting outgained because it keeps covering and winning easily. But Houston might get Nico Collins back, and that's big, and they've missed him. And C.J. Stroud, despite the fact he's regressed a little bit in his second year, he's a lot better at home than he is on the road. So anything above 3, I think, is a take on the Texans.
All right, Wes. Thank you, buddy. Follow Wes on Twitter at Wes Reynolds 1. Thank you, Wes. Good luck to you this week.
You bet, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, don't forget our friends over at Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. I talk about those windows that are built to handle the extreme South Louisiana weather conditions. The R-Last wood by Geldwin. Unlike your average wood, which is treated or just on the surface, it's treated straight through the core, offering unparalleled protection against rot, water saturation, and termites. These wood windows are built to last. So get a variety of shapes and styles. We offer a variety of wood window styles, colors, grid configurations, and glass options that you can choose a style and functionality that perfectly suits your home. Single hung, double hung casement, and awning style windows from Relief Windows. I'm sure glad I've got them in my home now as well. So if your HOA requires you to have wood windows, whether it's facing the street or for the entire house, make sure you get them the wood windows that last. Do like I did and call Relief Windows. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com.
Live at the original Walk-Ons Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
The Thibodeau store and the Pierre Port store helping you spruce up your property. If you do, you make some home improvements. You can work with a contractor. They will be able to get your contractor delivered all the supplies that they would need. Do any carpentry work, any plumbing work, laying some concrete, doing some painting, anything that you need lumber for. Go to ThibodeauStore.com. Arrange for a delivery, or you want to go into the store and you're talking about doing these projects yourself, which can save you a lot of money and save some time as well. If you talk to the experts, if you're not exactly sure how to proceed, let them walk you through step by step. You're going to have like a counselor there. It's not going to be like a YouTube video. You're going to be able to help you out step by step. You won't waste time. You won't waste money on materials that you don't need. Get online at ThibodeauStore.com. You can also pick up items. They'll help you with your help you load up some of the more bulky items that you have. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux, the Thibodeau store, and also the Pierre Port store.
This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111, and OCBrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Lofton Staffing Services, 924-0200, and Lofton.jobs. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance. The LSU Alumni Association and the Cook Hotel and Conference Center. For reservations, thecookhotel.com.
GMFS, changing lives. T. Brown here, CEO of GMFS Mortgage, which we started in Baton Rouge in 1999. Thanks to you, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. That's 25 years of helping thousands of you get into your dream homes. 25 years of helping thousands of you refinance to the best rate possible. And 25 years of helping many of you consolidate debts. The last 25 years would not have been possible without you, our clients, and our over 200 employees who come together every day through our Baton Rouge area offices and headquarters to provide you with award-winning customer service. If you're in the market to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, do what thousands of Louisianans have done over the past 25 years. Go to gmfsmortgage.com to start the process now and give us a chance to personally say thank you. GMFS, changing lives.
Number 64997 is an equal housing lender. Mortgages are originated at 7389 Florida Boulevard, Suite 200A, Baton Rouge, LA, 70806, subject to credit and property approval.
The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny Restaurant Club. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, downtown facing Town Square. At Jolie Pearl, we're pretty shucking good. Louisiana Lanyap on Perkins and Bluebonnet, winner of the most 225's Best of Awards. Snow Seafood and Steak for over 50 years on Airline, Highway, and Highway 74 in Gonzales. Dozy Place for hand-cut steaks on Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Fin Bomb, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee, and Phil's Oyster Bar since 1950 on Government Street and now in the South Downs Shopping Center.
At Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, we are driven by our commitment to family and our strong leadership team. We are proud to announce that our CEO, Beth Barron, has been named Modern Tire Dealer's 2024 Tire Dealer of the Year. Beth's visionary leadership and dedication to our customers have made a lasting impact on our local community, and her passion for mentorship, innovation, and people-first values drives our success. Thank you to our loyal customers for trusting Shawbills to keep you rolling.
WCK Foundation Repair, locally owned and operated, has been in business over 25 years. Engineers agree WCK uses the best repair method for Louisiana's unique soil conditions. Rely on WCK to provide a solid standard with friendly local professionals. Interest-free financing available. WCK Foundation Repair.
WCK Foundation Repair. WCK, a leader among peers. WCK.
Take care, brother.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
You discount everything, disregard everything that happened in the 2020 football season, right? That's still.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It was.
I'm with you.
It's BS,
so
man.
if we're disregarding everything that happened in the 2020 football season, Indiana hasn't beaten Michigan since 1987.
Oh, that's right. They beat them that year.
They beat them that year.
They beat Penn State
Bloomington
that year.
Mm-hmm.
Penix.
But that's the only time they've beaten them since '87, and they don't play every year, but they play almost every year in that stretch. So, man,
Michigan was like 5-5 that year.
Yeah, something like that. And when you've got that kind of level of dominance, even I'm trying to think of another analogy where a series has been so one-sided, and then just in 1 year, because last year we know very different Michigan team. Obviously, they won this game 52-7. I'm trying to think of a series that's been so one-sided, but boy, that 1 year, boom, it went.
I remember when I was a kid, Kansas and Oklahoma, and Kansas beat them. It was like the late 70s or early 80s, out of nowhere. Of course, we lived the LSU Tulane series. It was 24 years in a row.
Yeah.
That was broken in
what
72,
what came to
73.
mind? The first year Colorado got good in the late 80s or early 90s, either a series against Oklahoma or Nebraska had just thumped them for 20 plus. They did it. What good team with Fairbanks in like 73, and Colorado had just gotten mauled in that series. Nebraska and Oklahoma were mauling everybody in the Big Eight back then. But that first year they got good. Maybe the Salinesi team or the Eric Bieniemy team. I'm trying to remember, but that was one of the ones that came to mind. But it's just unusual when you've seen a series so one-sided.
Charlie, this is the best coaching job in my lifetime. Who is yours? I mean,
oh wow.
I mean the
best coaching job.
The Barnett year in Northwestern.
They got Northwestern.
They won the Big Ten championship. They went to the Rose Bowl the first time in like 50 years. That was 1995. I mean, this is unbelievable, man. Now, the one thing that calms it down a little bit is that, that strength of schedule, the way it's worked out. And when we're talking about college football, and when I travel around in the summer and people want to talk, I said, man, the big deal about college football is the schedules. When we're doing all of our preseason win total futures or this to win or whatever, then you had to dig into the schedule. And to see that Purdue was playing all kinds of tough teams, Rutgers wasn't. Tennessee is not that tough of a schedule. Missouri not that tough, and certainly Texas wasn't. But then you got Oklahoma. How are they going to get through that schedule? Georgia's schedule way tougher than it's been coming out of the East. And in this Indiana schedule, it's the only thing that backs me up a little bit. But man, all they could do is play the teams they've played, and they're blasting teams that are on the other hand pretty damn competitive. They beat Michigan State so much worse at their place than Oregon did at home. So much worse.
Yeah, I'm trying to a traditionally downtrodden program. Northwestern is a great one. The best Franklin year at Vandy, they still lost 4 games, I think. Any of the years that when TCU made it to the Rose Bowl, but TCU had way more tradition, even at that point. The best Kansas team ever, whatever that was. Spurrier's year at Duke, after they had been down forever.
The Kansas for sure.
Yeah,
that was 2007.
Yeah,
that was the LSU Ohio State. They won.
Mark Mangino was.
Yes. That's way up there. That's way up there. I mean, there's 1 versus 2. Kansas City versus Kansas versus Missouri and Arrowhead.
That's right. Gary Pinkel.
And then Missouri won to knock Kansas out of number 1, or Kansas point. And then Missouri had to lose to Oklahoma to open up a spot there in the Big 12 championship game on that day in Atlanta. But no, they went on. They beat Virginia Tech in the same Virginia Tech team that LSU beat like a drum that 2007 season.
What year was it?
In the Orange Bowl.
Yeah. What year was it that Schiano had Rutgers in the top 3 deep into October? Like maybe 2006, 2007. And then they had a big night game against either Pitt or somebody like that. But
no, it was
Jordan,
Rutgers,
Boston College,
Rutgers, West Virginia, and South Florida.
Yeah,
that's
it. Yeah, they were all up there. Might have even been 2007. And Rutgers was in the top 5 nationally, way deeper into the season than they should have been.
Went to the Insight Bowl, I think, the Insight.com Bowl. But what year was that?
I want to say 2007, Jimmy. I think it was before everything went.
That was 2007 too.
Might have been. I may be a year off.
I'm pretty sure it was.
But that would qualify.
South Florida. That was George Selvey was a defensive end.
But that would qualify. Rutgers being in the top 5 nationally that deep into the season. And after that, man, I don't know if I can come up with much past that, because when Joe Tiller got Purdue in the Rose Bowl, Purdue had way more football history than Indiana does.
Yeah, it's funny. We're talking about somebody asked on a national show last night, said, is Lane Kiffin in trouble if he loses this game?
Trouble.
People don't understand resources, man. But should we change our opinion of the Runts a little bit? Because, they're top 15 in active NFL players right now.
Yeah, it's a much...
we're talking about Penn State. And they brought up, they said, well, that's why Penn State and Ole Miss can never get over the hump, because they just don't have a higher standard at their... I'm like, what? I mean, it's 60 years, the best conference record. And I would venture to say the SEC's tougher than it was 60 years ago. It's clearly the best.
Yes,
it has been. It's clearly the best. It was all geographical and territorial, but 60 years he's got the best conference record. Damn it! I mean, Penn State's had success before. Paterno's won national championships, and he had like 3 other undefeated seasons that he didn't. Back in the day. So
I'm still worried about them losing, him to somebody. And
Franklin,
Kiffin, and I'm still not. I don't know if he wants to do this now, or he's still a young man by this. I'm not convinced he's not going to take another shot at the NFL one day. I'm not saying this year, but one day
he's going to get tired of the 2006, Charlie. They were 11-2, by the way. Rutgers.
They were 9-0, and they played Louisville, and they beat Louisville, who was number 3 in the country, and they went to 9-0. And then they played a game against Cincinnati. They got all the way up as high as numbers. They didn't get in the top 5. I thought they were in the top 5. They were 9-0. They were number 7 in the country, and they lost to Cincinnati.
Ray Rice was the guy that they,
Ray Rice was their best player. So as a matter of fact, it's exactly the same part on the calendar that we are right now. They were 9-0 when they beat number 3 Louisville. That was a weekday game. I want to say a Thursday night game. They rushed a field in Piscataway. Everybody made a big deal out of it. And they got up to number 7 in the country, which has got to be, as high as Rutgers is.
Thursday night, they beat Louisville 28-25.
Yeah.
They had already Yeah, so that shot them up because they were 7 at that point.
Right.
I'm sorry. No. It shot them from 15 to 7.
Yeah.
They went for it, and then they lost the next week. Field rush fade.
Field rush fade.
Lost 30-11 at Cincinnati.
I'm sure you had Cincinnati, especially
absolutely,
especially on the road.
And then they lost to Rich Rod and them in a wild one, 41-39, the last week of the regular season.
I should remember that game. That was a
triple
overtime game.
Pretty sure 2006. That was when we were. Was that when West Virginia beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl in Atlanta?
Well, that was the 2005 season.
Okay, because they didn't have
2005,
the dome.
but yeah, New Year's Day 2006
might have been when they went and played Oklahoma.
Yeah,
beat them as well. Don't forget our friend downtown Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com. Both Charlie and I has used the Dana's specialized team of attorneys for different reasons, for different stages of our lives, and did not hesitate at all when things came up with friends of ours, with people that we know and acquaintances, and did not hesitate to, hey, man, call them up, schedule an initial consultation, and they will sit you down, evaluate your situation, let you know if your rights are being infringed upon, you're entitled to more, and go from there. It's a free swing. We're not trained attorneys, but Dana has a great team that does very, very well. Dana Brown at the law office of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com.
Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
All right, it's rolling.
This is Charles Hanagriff. Join us for the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar and Town Square Pizza, downtown Baton Rouge. Matt Humans joins us along with Kenny White and Dwayne Colucci. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. Thursday on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Diets and exercise plans that just don't work? There's a better way. Unique Physique offers weight loss injectable medications. Semaglutide, now only $195 a month, and tirzepatide is only $325 a month. The lowest prices in town. No contracts, no gimmicks, just real results without the hassle. Visit uniquephysique.com or call today to schedule a consultation and unlock your weight loss potential. Unique Physique, your weight loss solution.
This is Charles Hanagriff for Supreme Rice. We always ask you to support our Louisiana farmers. Well, Supreme Rice has a long history of working with those Louisiana farmers in developing and maintaining sustainable farming practices. And now their Climate Smart program supports farming practices that reduce methane emissions and support water conservation, positively impacting the longevity of rice farming for future generations. So the next time you shop for rice, make it Supreme Rice. For more information and great recipes, go to supremerice.com and look for the Climate Smart logo on Supreme Rice bags coming soon.
Football season is back, and the best place to watch all the action all season long is at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus, Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana, with wall-to-wall TVs and award-winning jumbo chicken wings. What more could you possibly want? Pluckers is also a great spot to host your fantasy football draft, with the commissioner getting a gift card when you schedule in advance. Make sure Pluckers is part of your game day plans every game day all season long. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Lose yourself in the magic of the most wonderful time of the year at Cirque Dreams Holidays. This electrifying stage production has captured the imagination of audiences throughout the country. Delight in the holiday season as the world's finest circus artists perform alongside a cast of lovable holiday characters. Sprinkled with high-energy dance numbers and festive holiday music, it's the perfect gift for the entire family.
November 22nd and 23rd. Visit beaurivage.com for tickets. Schedule subject to change. Some restrictions may apply.
Workbox can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial and residential. Our shipping containers come in various sizes, 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, or even 8x40 feet. Not just one size. These units can be customized for any use. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padial at Workbox a call at 343-4886, 343-4886, and workboxllc.com.
Well, why don't you just come right out and say it?
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the Jim's Firearms.net hotline at 499-1045.
Say what?
Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline. Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com.
Looking for a tax deduction? Think about donating your car, boat, or RV to St. Vincent de Paul. Visit svdpbr.org.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Finish up with a little lighthearted moment between Brian Kelly and his quarterback. Asked on the SEC teleconference today about Notre Dame's national championship loss, a game loss to Alabama when Garrett Nussmeier's father, Doug, was the offensive coordinator at Alabama. And there is a picture of Garrett and his dad with the national championship trophy. And they asked Kelly, did he bring that up? Kelly said, yeah. And I told him to shut up and not bring it up again.
Kelly coached that team that was the one that they got drilled like 42-14 in Miami.
Yeah, 2012. He said next time we'll hold it up together. So maybe so. So all good natured, of course. But that's funny. Yeah.
How much pressure on who doesn't get to of these two coaches who doesn't get to the playoff?
Well, that's tough because at Alabama the things ratcheted up, but it's just year 3 for Kelly. Just on general principles, I'll say DeBoer, but I don't know. That's a close
in year 1.
That's a close call. Tomorrow we are at Jolie Pearl. Thanks to the folks at Walk-Ons. Big weekend coming up here against Alabama. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
The new location of
All right, you guys have a good one.
Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate it. Talk to you tomorrow.
See you.
indoor and outdoor